Alright guys, now we're gonna go pick up the motor from Engine Supply for Juan Supra. It's gonna be good. Hey Nikki, what makes you rad?
Because I'm 21 now.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, she's an adult now. Now she's gonna be drunk all the time and probably quit working here. No, just joking. She's just having fun. Okay, let's go. Don't worry guys, there's a Supra right here. Yep, even Mason wants this shirt. It's our buddy right here, Jesse. Jesse, let's talk a little bit.
Parts.
Whoa, my head's ready.
Yeah, pressure test is good.
Race car parts. But look at this shirt. You know you guys want one of these. Why? Ask this guy why.
Oh yeah, double XL.
Double XL. You want the shirt because it's retro 80s, cool style. Get one. Okay, now let's look at TJ part. Oh, he's done with both of them?
Yeah.
What?
This is for the car that
for
you're
Juan's
building.
car, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the short
Juan,
box.
your stuff's ready. We're here. We're getting it.
On a pallet.
So it turns out they're gonna deliver it for us. We just gotta get the forklift ready to grab it because it's gonna be on a pallet. Get the motor in here on a stand, one of these guys. It's already assembled like short block, but we gotta do like the head gasket, studs, ARP studs, little things we do to like block off some water inlet outlet on the side of the block. Stuff we've done before, but it's interesting stuff. We'll do that with you guys probably next week or the end of this week. We just gotta get some progress on that E3046 we're doing for Street Fighter LA, way over there. And then some projects need attention before we can get to Juan's motor. Got a lot of stuff happening at the shop. Here we have ported and built head and a built block minus stroker crank. So we got a stock crank, but billet mains, BC, H-beam rods, CP, high compression pistons, all forged internals, ACL race bearings, everything that we would want to have like a perfectly dialed in motor minus a stroker crank, because stroker crank for the longevity, it won't go as long. Some people are gonna say, hey, no, it will go as long. And then some people will say, no, it will not go as long. Either way, I still run a stroker in my race car because it gives you more torque, and I wanted that little bit more torque. Okay, but here's what we're working with. This is Juan's motor. We're gonna spin it to TDC before we put the head on, and our ARP head studs. The 625s with the treated metal. We got the good ones. But already we have Real Street Performance, billet mains in there, cranks in there, bearings, pistons, rods, like I said. Good job over at Engine Supply with Matt and Jesse, Mason, Mike, those guys over there. Doing a good job on all the motors for us. But what we're gonna go over today is some of the smaller details when we're putting stuff together. Some of these things we won't need till next video. This is for the cam. Rear main we're gonna do today. Some of these little plugs and stuff. These are for cams, cam seals, VVTi rebuild. This, I just buy this at Drift Motion. They sell a little kit. These things will go on the oil pan, so that might not be for today. Might be. This will go in the oil pan, the Ligretti magnetic plug. These are all gonna go in the block. These are mostly in the block, water pump, stuff like that. These are oil pump and upper water nut gasket. The handful of things we're gonna focus on mainly. We're gonna be putting whatever needs to go back into the block that we do have here on hand, like water pump, and then we're gonna do some of the front timing stuff, but not the timing belt yet. We will put the water pump, oil pump. So that's what's gonna happen later. We have Juan here, and Vicha, and me. So like I was saying earlier guys, now we're gonna do a little bit of motor work. We're gonna share some of the details with Juan. So here's your beautifully built bottom end, your short block. Let's see his face. Is he excited? He's excited. He's thinking about what that right pedal will feel like when he floors it. Yeah! The inline 6. Ooh, more smiles. It's nice, huh? The next thing we're gonna do is take this stock oil pump and we're gonna take the back off and take the spring out like we do, and then we're gonna port it a little bit so he has higher flow, and then we're gonna relieve this hole down here 2 sizes up with a drill bit, and then clean out all the metal that's in there so it's not gonna ever go in the motor, and then you can rev it out higher, safer, and not have to worry about any weird stuff happening. That because last time his motor gave out down here, the whole case of the oil pump just gave out. There might have been, we don't know like what else happened at the same time, like maybe multiple things happened, but like he was revving high, flooring it, and all of a sudden it just no more motor and the 2J gave up. But we're gonna try and give him a better 2J. We're not gonna try, we're gonna give him a really crazy motor that he can basically do what I do with my drift car, and you guys have heard me do, yeah, and he'll be able to do that in a street car. Some of the things like that we're gonna tell you on that maybe like you are like, what am I looking at here? So here's your head. You got all your nice valves in there. These are Brian Crower valves. Then you have the dual springs, titanium retainers. Your cams are in here. The reason we have it upside down is because you don't want to like put any like scrapes in the surface of this because it's freshly decked. And if we do flip it over, we'll put like bubble wrap down. We flip it over to take this cam out because we're gonna rebuild the VVTi on that front. And so we got you a little rebuild kit. We have all your little gaskets and other stuff that you need to build. So this you won't use today, but that's gonna be like a return for your oil drain. We're gonna just do all nice parts. I didn't like 100% didn't ask you about this stuff, but I figured you just want to do it nice and right, huh?
You know.
Okay, so then these 3 pieces are for the oil pan, but I just thought I'd show you. This is like what we'll use to feed your turbo. This will block off the other side. This will block off water because we're going to simplify the edges of the block and just make it like as close to like a race motor, but also for street driving as we can. This will be your aftermarket timing belt, Gates RPM. We use that on all the race motors, and then this is just a new tensioner. So this one we could put on today, but we can't release the pin yet till we have the head on and put that on. This is that other part from Powerhouse Race. It's a billet steel, so this one will prevent you from having any issues when you over rev. Sometimes you'll break these. It's like an unknown when it'll happen, but it's like you over rev the motor, or if like you downshift into the wrong gear. So this is like the stock piece. This is a Gates RPM one, but we're not actually gonna use, you have to buy this to get the pulley, but all we're gonna do is take this bolt out and then put it on this one, because this is like, you won't break that ever. Yeah.
Remember when I first came in?
Yeah.
You told me about it, yeah.
That's like a must-have. All my motors always get that. These are your front seal, your rear seal, your mains, and so we're gonna start by, Vicha is gonna get like all the hardware from the motor that was like a little bit older and like start cleaning it up on the wire wheel. Then he's gonna put a new rear main in for you, so you could see what's happening with your oil pump and how we're like kind of doing like we're porting and upgrading your oil pump. But you could be there with that, and then we'll start putting these parts on. This is like an 8-hour process to build a motor if you did the head and everything. So you'll be here, like there's 2 of us, so we'll knock out more time quicker. We use this guy to remove the lock. Well, there's Loctite on all these screws, so it's hard to just use your hand and normal screwdriver, so we'll break it loose with that hammer screwdriver. Some of you guys have probably used one before, some haven't. Either way, you hit it with a hammer and you either have it on tighten or loosen, and it'll break free on Phillips or flathead screwdrivers. Pretty handy tool to have. And so I cracked them all loose already, and now I'm just gonna go around and take them out. After these are out, we're gonna take it over to the fab table where we're gonna do some grinding, and I'll show you guys after this back plate is off. I just realized I gotta show you guys this too. So this is the actual oil pump there, this piece and this piece. So we just take this out. It's gotta be pulled out pretty much square, or it doesn't wanna come out very easily. Sometimes you can get it out easier. Yeah, that way. So that's your easier way to get it out, just flip it upside down. So what we're gonna do is work on this hole, a little bit of this area, Sometimes you can pour it in here if it looks bad in the casting. This one's pretty nice looking. You can change that a little bit if you want. I don't usually touch that area, but what you need to do is relieve this hole to be a little bigger, so that the reason you're doing that is so that at high RPMs, when it's going, if it needs to release some pressure, that helps relieve some of the pressure, which is in here, which is where this is spinning. So that would be like above rev limiter and things like that. And if you've already previously blown out the bottom of one of these pumps, then it's a good idea to do this. Alright guys, so we're back. We didn't bring you with us, but if you look closely, we deburred all the sharp edges there. You can't tell, but this is one size larger, this is one size larger, and this hole down here is one size larger. The most important though is these two holes, like this area here. The other one is not so important, but it helps. So like if you forgot to do one of the three, try not to forget this area here, because that's where most of your stuff is happening. Okay, so now we're going to continue working on putting it back together, and then as well as underneath the piston, I usually stack 40 thousandths worth of shim under here, which gives you the smallest amount of more spring pressure, which will help, because you ported this, now it's like more open, so you would actually lose oil pressure at idle by a little bit, but if you pump up the spring, it'll usually help out. There's probably many theories to this, because everyone has their own way of doing it. I just learned from a couple people that are older than me. That's usually how you learn like little tricks of the trade, someone that's older. So I learned from an older guy, so I've been doing it that way, what the older people taught me.
Yeah, it's always worked.
Seems to work good. I never ever had oiling issues, so that's I guess the proof behind it. Okay, so we're gonna keep working on this. Made a little bit of progress on the motor. Juan's been doing most of the work himself. We're just checking to make sure he did. No, he's just helping us. So we turned the motor a little bit. If you're noticing, the cylinders are now moved, so we're at TDC. Let's go to this side of the motor. We put the oil pump on. Vicha had done the front main seal before we dropped the pump on, and then he tightened down the bolts. We also cleaned up the bolts with a wire wheel, so everything's looking fresh. We got the Powerhouse Racing billet tensioner bracket. We swapped the wheel over from the Gates one onto this, onto the Powerhouse, and then we have the Gates tensioner in place. Alright, so this is where we got to today. We're gonna put one sensor in there, and then he's just gonna put that belt guide just so that it stays for now until we put the belt on. We're waiting for like fluid damper and a timing wheel, so we're gonna, once those show up, we ordered some parts from Drift Motion. When those show up, and this sandwich plate, we'll get back on the motor, and we'll kind of wait for all the parts to come, and then we'll do like the rest of the build in the next day, which will be putting the head on, the studs, timing belt. That day will be a longer day, but this is how far we got today. And this is Juan's first built 2JZ, so he got to, you know, spend some time with us as we're building it today. Thanks for watching. Till next time, high five.